I'm Lola.
And I'm Mamuna. Together, we've a combined 35 years of experience within the tech scene in North America and Europe.
We talk about the highs, the lows, the WTFs of navigating the technology industry and answer your questions about navigating tech careers.
This is Lost in Tech.
When you go from let's plan what we're going to talk about to we're going to need to hit record right now, you know you've got the subject.
Oh gosh, you just hit a nerve of feeling a emotion in my heart.
You
Please,
felt rage.
I felt it.
So actually, maybe there's a whole research study and thing. I did not Google this. I have no idea. This is coming from the heart.
Uh-huh.
The difference between a procedural thinker and a pattern thinker. And what got us going is I started to describe the procedural thinkers, right? These are the rule followers. This is the person you want leading a production line. The steps are.
The steps.
And when you work in tech and you work with a procedural thinker and they become more senior, so they look like they're doing strategy. And they look like they're
when you say look like, just so people understand the thing at a high level before you dive into it. This is what it looks like. And let me not start because I feel like some of you out there are procedural thinkers, and there is a place and a job for everybody. There is a role out there.
I disagree.
Stop
I'm going
it.
to tell you why. No. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Procedural thinkers, y'all need to stop. Okay. But anyway, go ahead.
But these are the people who they're asking, what's the process? What's the playbook? Yes. Hey, what did we do last time? They build reliability consistently, and they build for scalability, right? Like it's very predictable.
Yes.
Now, as they grow up in their executive lives,
here's a problem. Here's the problem. And actually it's a feature of our 2026 life at work, post-COVID, AI era. There is no what we did before, people. There is no, like, you will often, and I say this, I'm going to segment out safety environments. The only procedural thinkers I want in my life is if you are flying a plane or you are checking that plane is safe and you are looking at the
hospital
engine, or you are in a hospital and you are checking the equipment, you are sanitizing that ish, or you are the person building the car that I'm going to put my heartbeat that lives outside of my body and is a small formed human into. I need y'all to be procedural thinkers. I beg of you. I need you to just follow the safety practices. And I appreciate that. The checklist. In a dynamic, creative tech environment, in the innovation room, in the reactive business context, senior procedural thinkers are jobsworths. And this is a very British term, right? Like a jobsworth is somebody who takes so much pride in following their rules that the only value they see in you is in being like them. And they will challenge, they'll use language that this sounds a bit chaotic. If it's feeling a little bit, we're quite a grown-up business and we're going to need to like structure this. There's a way this works. We're going to need
safety,
kind of like
control,
safety. Oh, dude. And the language sounds important. It sounds meaningful.
Important.
The problem I have is in a fast-moving world, procedural thinkers are probably the biggest problem in your company. Literally. Correct. They are the least likely to want the innovation. They are the most likely to hate the junior person with bolder ideas. They're the most likely to try and manage out that individual. They are the most likely to manage up incredibly well. They manage the perception of themselves excellently. Yes. Even when everyone beneath them is like, I don't understand. I can't get past this mountain person who is just a no person, because if it doesn't look the way they expect to see it. And the biggest risk with them is they get to a point of seniority, I think. And I'm grateful I don't work with very many of these people, but I used to, and I am still around. And this is what triggered this discussion, because I was like talking to someone and I was literally like, they lack self-awareness about their limiting impact on the people around them. They are
not limiting, right? In their mind, it's not limiting. No, they are helping you predictably get to a resolution or to an end goal. But the thing is, you're never going to get to that goal. You're never going to get there. You're never going to get to whatever it is. And it's never going to move the marker.
It's never going to move the marker. And they struggle to find a way to that end goal that's outside their existing like presumptions. I think maybe the best way, like people with a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. Procedural thinkers, they look like they have a growth mindset, but they're actually quite fixed. And so the moment you bring them into a room, just like everything goes down a notch. Like they, and when people have been working with them, a while, they kill the vibe, they kill the spunk.
No sense of innovation.
They just don't. And they hate when they don't understand something. And so when they don't understand something, they poo-poo it.
Yes. Now, we've been talking a lot about procedural thinkers.
Yes.
What is the opposite? What are we?
Oh, I'm a pattern. I don't even know if that's a song. Okay. And let me. We are like the bright, vivid African Ankara to the procedural thinkers like Bauhaus moment. It's like, and it looks chaotic. This is the problem. Like, and let me start with the same level of criticism. Pattern thinkers are all over the place.
Yes.
And sometimes the reason I call it pattern thinker is because inside our heads, bear in mind, we connected 10 dots and we drew the pentagram, and we can see, and we're like, how can you not see the connection?
Just start, just go.
Just go and follow me, because this over here and this over there, and then they met in the middle and
yes,
like stars and sparkly. Yes, and everyone can envision. Yes.
And it's like, hey, but the thing that I find exciting is when you're in that moment and you see it.
Dude. It's like you can predict the future. It's so clear to you.
It is so clear. It's so clear. And then you get the procedural thinkers in there.
And they look at you like, you're mad. Are you crazy?
What's the playbook? How are you going to get there?
Document this. Can I see the risks? Where's the risks? Have you done your financial forecast? Okay, well, that's not really
how are you going to measure
these things. It's like we can't break it down. And what are the comps? Where are the comps? Can you show me other industries?
What's interesting? I find this interesting, right? Because as a pattern thinker, in the work that I'm doing right now, like I see it. I see what I'm doing. I see why I'm doing it. I see the path.
Yeah.
But then I talk to individuals who are like the procedurals, like, okay, well, what is this similar to? What's the approach that's going to be? Who's done? I'm like, don't slow me down. Don't slow me down.
The thing is, there is actually a place for both of us. I just think you can't live only in one of those modes.
I agree.
I have learned, and actually, like, product is a good discipline for training a pattern thinker, because you know what? You got to translate that sparkly but dangly dangly into a plan. It needs to go from vision to execution. And you've got to take a lot of people on the journey with you. So you now have to start interrogating yourself and be like, why do I think this? Where do I get that from? What does it mean to do this? Yes. Where I think the conflict arises and why I'm very worried about the abundance of procedural thinkers in senior positions in companies is they block the potential of pattern thinkers. And it goes back to something we discussed before. When your belief system is everything that's worked before and everything that I know how to understand and control, you are blind to the moment when you lose relevance. And when you've got
Say it
somebody
again for people in the
agitating,
back.
I'm telling you, like, you don't even see the point at which you are no longer relevant. You just, you processed your way through it. Like you're kind of rocking. And businesses don't like, they bleed money slowly and then very quickly. And the point where it speeds up, the momentum was lost like 3 quarters ago, bro. Like that big idea. Exactly. And I think, you know, when I look at like the opportunity space we're in, and I think about, you know, the conversations we often have with our listeners and watchers about like, what helps you succeed today? And this is my thing. You can learn to do both things. It's literally probably a proxy to being like fixed mindset. Sometimes that is the thing you need to be. You need to have discipline. You need to have control. A growth mindset, you need to always see a path forward. You need to be somebody who's able to move to the next level, even when it's uncomfortable. A pattern thinker, you've got to invent out of nowhere. You've got to see connections. In like the dark, you know, you got to close your eyes and like the root comes to life. You got to be clairvoyant and you've got to lean into that inspiration because AI can do the procedural thinking.
Yeah, that's true. But it can't make new things up. It's always going back.
Doesn't. Exactly. It's always going back. And there is a video that there's a person we have listened to before on this show who, we linked to one of their videos about the fact that the AI layoffs were not actually AI layoffs. They were to do with basically like capital cost reallocation. He's done another video. His name's Brendan. And in this video, he talks about the fact that there's a Harvard research study. And in this Harvard research study, they found that like people were using LLMs as if the LLM was actually intelligent. And we've forgotten the language model part. What it's actually doing is it's analyzing the words you've added to the page and it's using math to rank a response that it can give you, which means if you don't bring your intelligence,
you're right.
If you don't know how to ask it questions, you're going to get that. And when it comes to a question like, I need to build a process for reviewing PRDs and I want to be able to assess the risks, that's a very procedural question.
Straight on.
It's going to give you a rank and file or blah, blah, blah. If you ask it, I need to come up with a new idea. Give me 5 ideas for how to solve this problem in my business. It will give you some words.
Yes.
Some of those might be good ideas. None of them are new ideas.
None of them are new ideas. And you may find that hallucinations start to kick in depending on how far you push it. Because it does not know, and it does not know. And until you ask it to verify or whether it knows, it will not say it does not know. It is going to always try to give you an answer. Do not go to LLMs for new ideas. It is not going to work.
They don't know how to invent. And if you are not the person, they can't think, but they can help you interrogate. I came up with a crazy idea. Let's have a conversation and let's figure out all the places where it's strong and all the places where it's weak. And then we'll put those two things together and it'll help me make the decision about how to do this. And that's where I think, like, if you're a pattern thinker and people tell you that you're all over the place and they don't understand what you're saying, the feedback I get often is you've gone to 10 places and I couldn't follow you past the third one. And I'm like, bet I've got you. I can use an LLM. I can use AI to help me organize and show my working, like bring the thing in my head to life and say, let me deconstruct it. And this is why these things are related. If you are a procedural thinker, what did we say a few episodes ago? You need to go out and touch grass. You need to go ride your bicycle. You need to go go to the beach, climb a mountain. You need to kickstart a different part of your brain because that habit tendency, that formation and structure tendency, or you need to work in a safety critical environment so that you're rewarded for being that in
period.
Yeah.
You need to work on developing the skill.
It is developable as well.
It is a developable, yes. Work on it. Like I would say if I were a procedural thinker, the thing that I would do to develop that pattern thinking is I would just become generative. I would start to each day pick a new industry, a new area, and just start to generate new ideas.
I believe creativity is a muscle. And I actually think, okay, let's get spiritual and existential or woo-woo in this. When I think about where my pattern thinking comes from, a lot of how I show up at work is a reaction to limitations I felt I experienced as a child. I was the good kid. I was, it's like follow the rules,
Safe.
do the thing.
Yes.
Be the person. And some of that was covering up for trauma. Some of it was just like, I thought that was my reward. My value in the world was being good. And then I got to a certain age and I was like, this isn't rewarding me with what I feel is fulfillment. And then I went to therapy and I was like, oh no, this is a whole trauma response. So we're going to flip the script. And I built the muscle. There was an instinct in there. I let that instinct free and I built that creative muscle, the chaotic muscle. It feels more aligned with my true self. I guarantee you, I would say maybe 60% of procedural thinkers, they're similar in that it's a learned response to an environmental thing, which means somewhere in you is the ability to reawake that pattern, creativity, randomization muscle that allows you to learn how to invent and learn how to generate and conceptualize, and maybe even gives yourself permission to not have good ideas, but to let the bad ideas come through until the good idea comes after them.
Come to follow. They'll get there.
Give yourself all of that permission. And then I think there are a much smaller group of people who are instinctive procedural thinkers. Like this is the regulation that they need in their bodies and they need to focus and follow that workflow. But I think even those people can create a way to access creativity. We've talked about this book before, I think, as well, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
Yeah.
That is a great book for a procedural thinker who needs to follow a process. But it is directly about the war of creatives. It is about how you go from, I know there's a book in me, so what do I do every day to get that book out? And where do I find my spark? But also, how do I get the discipline to produce the thing? That is a Bible for a procedural thinker who thinks they're not naturally creative, but there is a way to nurture creativity. And if you're going to defend a job in 2026, you better bring some of that pattern thinking. You better bring some of that spark and some of that creativity, because the difference between you and the AI is all of that human chaos stuff.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep. That's it, y'all. So, one, the best leaders are bilingual.
Yes, they are.
You can do both. They can pattern match to set direction, and then they can shift into that procedural thinking to build the systems that execute, right?
Yeah.
And people are naturally strong on one, but if you are moving into this 2026 world and you are in leadership, you need to be able to flex into the discomfort of whatever that is for you. So there we go. Flex, y'all.
And don't suppress that upstart individual in your team who you think never follows the rules. Because I tell you what, that person may be the salvation that everybody's looking for. And all they need is they need some guidance and some props to structure themselves, but they very well may have the key. So
they might have the key. All right. Like, share, subscribe.
You got this.
Who am I?
We've made this show for you, and we want to hear your stories. We have our combined 35 years experience in tech. We have an incredible bank of experts to call on. We are your safe space. So send us your tech challenges and we'll help you create some draft decisions through some real talk.
You've been listening to me, Mamuna and Lola.
And me, Layo Pearson.
Edited and produced by me, Michael Blissa, with theme music by 031 Mash.
Email us at help@lostintechpodcast.com or DM us at lostintechpod.